Maya Green wasn't born into wealth. Growing up in Detroit, she watched her single mother work 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. Maya learned early that respect wasn't given, it was earned, and that your worth wasn't determined by the designer of your clothes or the size of your bank account. These lessons would prove more valuable than any business degree when she built her jewelry empire from a small kiosk in a local mall. By age 35, Maya had transformed that single kiosk into Green Luxury Jewelers, a chain of 12 high-end stores generating over $50 million annually. Her success story had been featured in Forbes, Business Weekly, and countless entrepreneurship podcasts. She was living proof that the American dream was still possible with enough determination and smart business decisions. But success hadn't changed Maya's core values. She still remembered what it felt like to be judged by appearances, to be dismissed because of assumptions people made about her background or her bank account. That's why she made it a point to regularly visit her stores unannounced, observing how her employees treated all customers, not just the obviously wealthy ones. On this particular Tuesday morning in October, Maya decided to test her flagship store on Fifth Avenue. She deliberately dressed down, wearing jeans, sneakers, and a simple sweater, with her hair pulled back in a casual ponytail. No designer handbag, no obvious jewelry, nothing that would immediately signal her wealth or status. She wanted to see how her staff treated an average customer walking in off the street. The Fifth Avenue location was Maya's pride and joy. Floor-to-ceiling windows displayed breathtaking pieces under perfect lighting. The interior was all marble and gold accents, designed to make customers feel like they were entering a palace of luxury. Every detail had been carefully planned to create an atmosphere of exclusivity and elegance. Maya pushed through the heavy glass doors and immediately noticed Jessica Hamilton, the store manager, arranging a display case near the entrance. Jessica was relatively new, hired just 6 months ago with impressive credentials from a competing luxury retailer. On paper, she seemed perfect for the role, but Maya was about to discover that credentials don't always translate to character. Maya approached the display case, genuinely admiring a stunning diamond necklace that retailed for $22,000. The piece featured a cascade of perfectly cut diamonds set in platinum, catching the light from every angle. It was one of their signature pieces, the kind of jewelry that had built Green Luxury's reputation for exceptional quality and craftsmanship. "Excuse me," Maya said politely to Jessica. "Could I take a closer look at that necklace?" Jessica glanced up from her work, and Maya immediately noticed the shift in her expression. Jessica's eyes traveled from Maya's sneakers to her casual outfit, and her professional smile faded into something much colder. This was the moment Maya had been hoping wouldn't happen, but expecting it might. "I'm sorry," Jessica said, her tone suddenly formal and dismissive. "But that particular piece is quite expensive. Are you sure you're looking for something in that price range?" Maya felt her heart sink, but she maintained her composure. This was exactly the kind of discrimination she had worked so hard to eliminate from her stores. "I'd just like to see it, please. I'm very interested in the craftsmanship." Jessica's expression hardened further. "Ma'am, I don't think you understand. That necklace costs more than most people make in 6 months. I really think you'd be more comfortable looking at something more appropriate for your budget. There's a nice jewelry store at the mall about 10 minutes from here that might have options more in your price range." The words hit Maya like a physical blow. Here she was, in her own store, being told she didn't belong by her own employee. Other customers in the store had begun to notice the interaction, some stopping their browsing to watch the uncomfortable scene unfold. Maya took a deep breath, reminding herself that this was exactly why these undercover visits were necessary. "I appreciate your concern about the price," she said calmly. but I'd really like to see the piece. I'm prepared to make a purchase today." Jessica let out a small laugh that made Maya's blood boil. "Look, I've been in luxury retail for over a decade, and I can tell when someone is serious about buying and when they're just window shopping. I'm not going to waste my time or risk our expensive inventory on someone who's clearly just browsing. I have real customers to attend to." Maya glanced around the store and noticed that Jessica had no problem showing expensive pieces to other customers who fit her narrow definition of what a wealthy person should look like. An older white man in an expensive suit was currently examining a watch that cost more than the necklace Maya had requested. A well-dressed woman was trying on earrings, while a sales associate hovered attentively nearby. The double standard was glaring and heartbreaking. This was everything Maya had worked to prevent in her organization. She had implemented extensive training programs, diversity initiatives, and clear policies about treating every customer with respect, regardless of their appearance. Yet here was proof that her message wasn't reaching everyone. "I understand you're busy," Maya said, her voice remaining steady despite her growing anger. "But I'm a serious customer. I'd really appreciate the opportunity to see the necklace." Jessica's patience finally snapped completely. "Look, lady, I don't know what part of no you don't understand. This isn't a museum where you can just gawk at expensive things. This is a business, and I'm not going to pretend you can afford a $22,000 necklace when we both know you can't. I'm asking you nicely to leave before I have to call security." The threat of calling security was the final straw. Maya had endured enough humiliation in her own establishment. She pulled out her phone and dialed a number, speaking loudly enough for Jessica and the nearby customers to hear clearly. "Hi, this is Maya Green. I'm currently at the Fifth Avenue store, and I need to speak with security immediately." She paused, watching as Jessica's confident expression began to crack. "Yes, that's right. Maya Green, the owner of Green Luxury Jewelers. I'm standing in my own store right now." The transformation on Jessica's face was immediate and dramatic. The color drained from her cheeks as the reality of the situation hit her like a freight train. Her mouth fell open, and she stared at Maya with a mixture of horror and disbelief. You're Maya Green," Jessica whispered, her voice barely audible. "The Maya Green? The owner?" Maya nodded calmly, slipping her phone back into her pocket. "That's correct. I'm the same Maya Green who signs your paycheck, who built this company from nothing, and who just experienced firsthand the kind of discrimination I thought we had eliminated from our stores." Jessica began stammering apologies, her professional composure completely shattered. "Oh my God, Miss Green, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I mean, I didn't recognize you. I never would have, if I had known." "That's exactly the problem, Jessica," Maya interrupted, her voice firm but controlled. "Your behavior shouldn't change based on who you think someone is or how much money you assume they have. Every person who walks through those doors deserves to be treated with respect and dignity, whether they're buying a $20 pair of earrings or a $20,000 necklace." The other customers in the store had stopped pretending to shop and were openly watching the confrontation unfold. Maya was acutely aware that this moment would likely be discussed and shared far beyond the walls of her store, but she was determined to handle it with the grace and professionalism that had built her reputation. "Ms. Green, please, I can explain," Jessica pleaded, her hands shaking as she fumbled with the keys to the display case. "I was just trying to protect the inventory. Sometimes people come in here who aren't serious buyers, and I thought—" "You thought you could determine someone's financial situation and purchasing intentions based on their appearance," Maya finished. "You thought that because I didn't look the way you expected a wealthy customer to look, I didn't deserve the same level of service and respect as everyone else in this store." Maya looked around at the other customers, many of whom were nodding in understanding and support. She realized this was an opportunity not just to address Jessica's behavior, but to make a broader statement about the values her company represented. "Let me be very clear," Maya continued, her voice carrying throughout the store. "Green Luxury Jewelers was built on the principle that luxury should be accessible to anyone who appreciates quality and craftsmanship, regardless of their background, appearance, or perceived social status. We don't make assumptions about our customers, and we certainly don't turn people away based on prejudice and discrimination." Jessica was now visibly crying, realizing that her career at Green Luxury was almost certainly over. "Please, Ms. Green, I need this job. I have a family to support. Can't we work this out? I promise it will never happen again." Maya felt a pang of sympathy, but she knew that some actions had consequences that couldn't be undone. "Jessica, the fact that you have a family makes this even more disappointing. What kind of example are you setting? What are you teaching them about how to treat people who look different from you, or who you perceive as having less than you do?" The security guard Maya had called arrived at that moment, a tall, professional-looking man named Marcus, who had worked for the company for 3 years. Maya had hired him personally after being impressed by his military background and his commitment to treating everyone with respect. "Ms. Green," Marcus said, approaching with obvious concern, "is everything all right here?" "Marcus, I need you to escort Ms. Hamilton to her office so she can collect her personal belongings," Maya said calmly. "Her employment with Green Luxury Jewelers is terminated effective immediately." Jessica's tears intensified, but she knew there was no point in arguing further. The damage was done, and her actions had spoken louder than any apology ever could. As Marcus gently guided her toward the office area, she turned back one last time. "Ms. Green, I really am sorry. I know that doesn't change anything, but I want you to know that I understand why you're doing this." Maya nodded acknowledgement, but said nothing more. She watched as Jessica disappeared into the back of the store, knowing that this moment would serve as a powerful reminder to every other employee about the standards expected at Green Luxury Jewelers. The remaining customers had gradually returned to their shopping, though Maya could see them whispering among themselves about what they had witnessed. She approached several of them personally, apologizing for the disruption and ensuring they felt welcome in the store. One customer, an elderly black woman who had been shopping with her daughter, approached Maya with tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Thank you for standing up for what's right. I've experienced that kind of treatment too many times in stores like this, and it means everything to see an owner who actually cares." Maya was moved by the woman's words, remembering her own experiences with discrimination and the motivation they had provided for building her business differently. "Ma'am, I promise you that this is not representative of our values or our training. I hope you'll give us another chance to show you the respect and service you deserve." The woman smiled and continued shopping, eventually purchasing a beautiful pair of earrings with the help of another sales associate who provided exactly the kind of attentive, respectful service Maya demanded from her employees. Over the following week, Maya conducted a comprehensive review of hiring practices, training programs, and company policies across all 12 locations. She personally visited each store, spoke with managers and employees, and observed customer interactions to ensure that what happened on Fifth Avenue was an isolated incident rather than a systemic problem. The investigation revealed that while most of her employees truly embodied the company's values, there were areas where training could be improved and policies could be clarified. Maya immediately implemented new mandatory diversity and inclusion training for all employees, focusing specifically on unconscious bias, and the importance of treating every customer as a valued member of the green luxury family. She also established an anonymous feedback system that allowed both customers and employees to report incidents of discrimination or unprofessional behavior. The system was designed to address problems quickly and effectively, preventing situations like the one with Jessica from escalating or being ignored. Maya shared her experience in a company-wide memo, not to embarrass Jessica further, but to ensure that every employee understood the real-world consequences of discrimination and bias. She emphasized that Green Luxury's success was built on the principle that everyone deserved to be treated with dignity and respect, and that any employee who couldn't embrace that principle had no place in the organization. The story didn't end there, though. Word of Maya's undercover experience spread through social media and business networks, generating significant positive attention for Green Luxury jewelers. Customers praised Maya's commitment to her values and her willingness to take decisive action when those values were violated. Sales actually increased in the months following the incident, as customers appreciated knowing that they would be treated fairly regardless of their appearance or background. Maya received hundreds of messages from people sharing their own experiences with retail discrimination and thanking her for taking a stand. The replacement manager Maya hired for the Fifth Avenue location was a young Hispanic woman named Sofia Rodriguez, who had previously managed a successful boutique in Brooklyn. Sofia brought fresh energy and a deep commitment to inclusive customer service that perfectly aligned with Maya's vision for the company. Under Sofia's leadership, the Fifth Avenue store became the highest-performing location in the Green Luxury chain, serving as a model for how luxury retail could be both exclusive in quality and inclusive in approach. The store's reputation for exceptional customer service, regardless of customer background, attracted a diverse clientele that appreciated both the beautiful jewelry and the respectful treatment. Maya often reflected on that difficult Tuesday morning and the lessons it taught her about the ongoing work required to build and maintain an inclusive business culture. She realized that having good intentions and policies wasn't enough. Constant vigilance and accountability were necessary to ensure that those values were lived out in every customer interaction. The incident also reinforced Maya's belief that true luxury wasn't about exclusion or making people feel small. True luxury was about craftsmanship, quality, and making every customer feel valued and respected. It was about creating an experience that honored both the beauty of the jewelry and the dignity of every person who appreciated it. As Maya continued to grow her business, she never forgot the importance of staying connected to the customer experience. She maintained her practice of making unannounced visits to all locations, though she was never again subjected to the kind of treatment she experienced with Jessica. The story had become part of Green Luxury's culture, a reminder to every employee that their owner understood what it felt like to be judged and dismissed, and that such behavior would never be tolerated. Maya's story became a powerful example of leadership in action, demonstrating that successful business owners had a responsibility not just to generate profits, but to create environments where everyone was treated with dignity and respect. Her willingness to confront discrimination in her own store, even at personal cost and discomfort, showed that true leadership meant living your values even when it was difficult. Today, Green Luxury Jewelers continues to thrive as a business that proves luxury and inclusivity can coexist beautifully. Maya's experience that October morning serves as a constant reminder that the most valuable lessons often come from the most challenging moments, and that sometimes the most powerful changes begin with the courage to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our organizations. If you found Maya's story as compelling as I did, please hit that like button to let me know. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories of business leadership and social justice. And check out our playlist of similar videos about entrepreneurs who are changing the world one decision at a time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.